Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Brittany McQueen, and today I am going to talk about my favorite part of the brain. So, the first time I learned about this part of the brain was back when I was in high school. It was my senior year, and it was the very first psychology class I had ever taken, and it really just kind of stuck with me all throughout the class, and I just found it the most interesting and fun part to learn about. So the part I'm actually going to talk about today is the amygdala. It is an almond shape, which I always found kind of funny to think about, and it is located right near the hippocampus. It can be found in the frontal portion of the temporal lobe, and so that's what I have kind of showing today is on the right side. It kind of shows you where the hippocampus is and in reference to the amygdala and how they're just kind of right next to each other. I find it very interesting because it is responsible for many things like emotional and behavior functions, and it is responsible for strong reactions like fear and anger, and it can also affect a person's decision-making process. One thing I also really enjoyed learning about it was what would happen if the amygdala was damaged. So it can involve a lot of things. A lot of things can happen when it does get damaged. But I have found an example, and it was a study conducted by Dr. De Martino. Um, he observed two women who had suffered damage to this portion of the brain, and the study looks at how women acted when gambling, and it was found that the women had a lower sense of loss aversion and made higher gambles. So loss aversion explains the tendency of humans to want to avoid loss, right? So no one wants to lose things. They don't want to lose items or lose money, and so that's what a lot of gambling can involve is like big bets, low bets. Typically people make low bets because they don't want to take that big of a risk because they don't want to lose their things. The study found that because there was damage to the amygdala, there was almost like the opposite effect. They did not care. They did not care if they were going to lose things, and they just made really high bets instead. So another interesting thing about the amygdala is since it controls aggressive reactions, and when damage is created in the amygdala, or if it is a little abnormal, there's something not quite right about it. For instance, if it's shrunken, many psychopaths, for example, have shrunken amygdalas because it creates a lack of emotion. And with that lack of emotion, there's also no sense of guilt or remorse. So it's almost like a carefree attitude, except with a mixture of aggression. I find a lot of these studies very interesting because I am a huge fan of crime TV and just especially documentaries about criminal, crime, that all that stuff just really intrigues me. Those are the two main reasons why the amygdala is my favorite part to learn about and my favorite part of the brain, just because those stories and the studies I involved has always been so interesting to me, and it's something that stuck throughout high school with me, so that's why I just like to learn about it.